Okay, so today we're diving into something really, really unique. It's what the author calls a book of life, something a father wrote for his kids. And it's this incredibly personal guide on how to navigate the universe, all of it born from a deep, personal quest for meaning. And the book just kicks right off with this line. I mean, wow. It immediately sets the tone, right? It's all about this huge cosmic perspective, this kind of unconventional wisdom. It's basically saying, hey, let's remember how wild and absurd our existence is, and maybe our everyday fears aren't so big after all. So, where did this whole search for answers even come from? Well, it wasn't just some intellectual curiosity. It was actually forged in some really intense personal tragedy very early in the author's life. I mean, can you imagine? By the time he was just 17 years old, he had lost both of his parents. That's not just a loss. It's the kind of thing that completely shatters your world. It forced him to face life's biggest questions, like right away, and that became the engine for his entire journey. So he's feeling lost, complaining about a situation, and he has this pivotal conversation with a mentor. The mentor talks about this historical conqueror who achieved great things at 17, and then turns to him and asks, "You are 19, where is your sin?" That one question just completely flipped a switch. It shifted him from seeing himself as a victim to seeing himself as the one in charge of his own destiny. And after years and years of searching, he came to this conclusion, that the root of pretty much all of our unhappiness, all of human dissatisfaction, comes down to one single internal battle. It's a fight between two different identities that he believes exist inside every single one of us. And here's how he breaks it down. On one side, you've got the false self. That's the ego. It's all the stuff we usually think of as me, our name, our body, and that constant chatter, that voice inside our head. But then there's the true self, the soul, and that's something much deeper. It's that silent observer in the background, the part of you that's timeless, infinite, and connected to something way bigger. Well, that distinction naturally leads to the biggest questions of all, right? If that voice in my head isn't the real me, then who am I? And what on earth is the point of all this? What are we doing here? The rest of the book is really dedicated to answering that. So the book's core answer is pretty profound. It says that the purpose of life isn't some outward race for more stuff or higher status. Nope, it's actually an inward journey. The whole point is to discover and then express our true self, to finally bridge that gap between our spiritual side and our human experience. He lays out this really clear framework for how this all works. It starts with what he calls the source, which is just pure knowing. Then, from that, our soul is created, also in a state of knowing. But here's the key. We get sent here as humans for one big reason, to turn that knowing into experiencing. For example, your soul might know it is merciful, but you're here to actually experience being merciful in the real world. So really, it all comes down to making this one crucial shift. A mind-driven life is basically the rat race, right? Chasing after things, chasing approval. But a soul-driven life, that's all about expression. It's about letting your true divine nature come out and play in the world. The goal isn't to get more, it's to be more. Okay, I know, this all sounds very grand, very philosophical. But what's amazing is how the author takes this giant concept and boils it all down into a super simple, totally actionable thing you can do every single day. So after all that searching, all the reading, all the painful life lessons, what's the one thing? What's the secret he discovered that allows you to actually live this way, day in and day out?
That's it. 3 words. Win the day. Not win the year, not even win the week. Something much, much more immediate. This is the core mantra he gives his kids.
And the power of this idea is all about its focus on right now. Life isn't happening out there in the future, it's happening in this exact moment. So if you can just win this moment, you start a chain reaction. You win the second, then the minute, and if you win enough days, you win your life. It's the simplest way to bring yourself back to the present, which is the only place your true self actually exists. He closes with this incredible quote from Marianne Williamson, and it just reframes this whole journey. This isn't some selfish quest for enlightenment. Discovering and expressing your true self, your real power, that is the greatest gift you can possibly give to the world. Playing small helps nobody. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. A direct challenge, really. If you actually let go of that fear, if you truly stepped into the power of your true self, what would change? Who would you become?